Hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today it may look nice and warm and sunny. In fact, it is very sunny. There ain't a cloud in the sky, but I'm gonna tell you, it is far from warm. The wind is whipping and it is in the high 20s right now. So I know you're saying, you're wearing short pants, Coach. I know, it's a Florida thing. I wear short pants. In fact, Coach Vic was mocking me as I was coming out here. She goes, you need to put some pants on. I'm like, I've got some pants on. She goes, no, some pants that cover your legs. But I'm like, it'll be fine. So if I get too cold, I'll do that. But one of the things that you have to be concerned with in the wintertime on motorcycles is that battery. You know, I used to not put a lot of countenance in the whole idea of a battery tender. Here's my battery tender junior. I've run that battery tender on Oxford for a couple of years now, and I'm gonna tell you, it's been rock solid. The battery still looks great. So what I'm going to do, that's a heavier battery tender junior than the new battery tender junior, which is a little weaker, and that is gonna go on a motorcycle that is a little weaker and requires a little less battery. And then I've got a battery tender that's a little heavier duty, and that's what's gonna be going on Casper. Putting a battery tender on is not a big deal, but if you've never done it before, anything, even the most simple things, can be a little bit intimidating. So let's walk into the office. We're going to talk about that. Also, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I do want to let you know, for those who subscribe to the channel, you're going to be seeing another battery tender install coming up on Tuesday. So for those who have your notifications on, the one today is purely going to be on the CanAm Spyder, and the one on Tuesday is going to be on the Suzuki SV650. You know, sometimes it's like I'm running two separate channels, just to let you know that. That way, if you get that notification, it's not confusing. What is he putting the same thing in twice? Slightly different battery tender. One's a little more powerful than the other. But anyway, let's walk into the office and look at the battery tender that I've chosen to use on the CanAm Spyder. So this is the battery tender that's going to be used on the Spyder. It's a little heavier duty, 1.25 amp. I got this at Lowe's. I will post a price for it. Very, very simple installation. But this is the one we're going to be using. Now, one of the things you used to have to deal with when you dealt with battery chargers is it was very complicated. This switch has to be over to this voltage and that one on that voltage, and this battery and that battery type, and you know, and it could get very confusing, and the risk of starting a fire if you left it hooked up too long, all of that stuff. Battery tenders have made that so easy. You don't have to worry about all that anymore. The battery tender thing is just something that really has made my life a lot more simple. And if you have a lithium battery, you obviously have to use a different type of charger. Most of us are running standard batteries in our Spyders, so that's quite simple. The battery tender, you hook up to it and you basically forget about it. You leave it there. Just don't forget about it when you go for a ride, because you need to remember to unhook it, or you'll be pulling your wire across the garage and maybe tearing your battery up. So let's get this thing unboxed, see what's in the box, and get this thing going. So again, the one I'm using for the Spyder is the Battery Tender Plus 1.25 amp selectable battery charger and maintainer. Nothing to it. Let's open this bad boy up. All right. And this thing's pretty heavy duty looking. So there it is. Not much to this thing. There's that, and then this. Take that little pigtail right there, you put that on your battery. Then you have this end that will be coming off of the battery. And to charge that bad boy up, all you do is plug these two in together. It'll only go one way. It is a spark-free technology too. And there it is. That's all there is to it. So all we have to do is get our battery access and put this little fella here on the battery itself. So here's the instruction manual. I will make sure I look over that just a little bit before we get going. But let's put these pigtails on this, but we'll put this little lead right here on the Spyder, and we'll be good to go and get this thing all going. So here's what the battery tender says about it. It's a reverse hookup protection. In other words, if you do a boo-boo and hook it up backwards, you're not going to fry your battery. It just won't work. You'll have to hook it up correctly. Haha. Has a 12-foot total reach with all of your cables, 72-hour safety timer, spark-proof protection, and here is the nice thing. Connect it and forget it. Once you connect the battery tender to it, it'll charge it and maintain your battery. So this is literally, when it says a battery tender, it tends to your battery. It's not a charger. It does charge your battery, but it maintains it. That's the big difference. And when I was a young man, we had chargers, and you could get yourself in a world of hurt with those things. So as with anything on the Spyder, first thing we got to get to everything. So let's open up this frunk, and we will see what we need to do to get that battery exposed so that we can hook that pigtail up. Of course, open your frunk. Let's get her opened up. All right, so we have to take these 2 bolts out right there. They're 2 Torx 30s. Actually, nothing to it. There's one. Numero 2. Dun, 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 dun. Compartment door just pulls out and up. You can see on these, just a simple screw head right there. On the front, on this one, they have it on the top on that side. Of course, that could present a little bit of an issue. I may have to pull the battery strap off and lean the battery forward in order to get to that screw. Not really a problem. Just be aware of that. But simply a Phillips head or a small wrench. Let's see what size that is. So the battery terminals, as you can see, the way they hooked mine up, they've got one on the top, one on the front. You can mount it either way. I'm just going to put them back exactly the same way. You can see there's the positive. So there's your hot, negative your ground. So what I'm going to do is use a little 10mm socket wrench. These things don't have to be super killer tight. Hopefully whoever did this lived by that rule. That's it, nothing to it. Once you get it loose, you can do it with your fingers. Can I get to it? Yep, just like that. Okay. Take that off the wrench. I can just finger turn this now. The big concern that whenever you do this is, where is this going to go? You've got this lead, you've got a battery door. That battery door is going to go over it. The battery door does not have a notch in it, it's just a door. So we've got this little rubber plug hole right here. Pulled the little rubber plug out of there. We've taken our 10mm, we've got these things loosened up. I am going to feed this wire coming in through the back, run it out through the front, and there it is, just like that. The positive, that's the red, will go there, and the black will go there. Not hard at all. So there's the positive, there's the negative there. You can see this is a very, very simple job. 2 screws. This, now that I've got them started, I have this little 10mm socket here. I'll just use it. I can spin that thing with my hand. And then I just feed as much of that wire through as I can. Snug her up. Doesn't get much easier than that, does it? Hook our little battery strap, which I really didn't have to undo. I just decided to do that. And we'll put this door back on, which, again, this door, the way it goes on, you'll see you've got little clips right there. This door drops in behind it like that. And then the 2 screw holes go right there. There are our 2 Torx screws right there. There are all kinds of little firewall plugs, and that's what I'm going to get. I'll show you that in a future video, but I'm going to get a little firewall plug that a wire will just run through that firewall plug as opposed to cutting the one that I had. If it looks like the lighting's changed dramatically, today is actually Christmas Day, and I've gotten a lot of phone calls every time I get started. It's one of my children or a parent or a friend. And it's always a blessing to hear from them, so I certainly don't mind stopping what I'm doing. So there we have it. It's just a simple little pigtail coming out. Plug right into the battery tender. So let's go get that battery tender and get it going. So So we just simply plug her in. That's the one going to the speed triple here. So this cable here runs across here. Right here, 12 volts. And we just take this, plug it into that lead, and that is it. Now this is on the charger itself, so it will show you what the indicator lights are, right? The amber light flashing means that the power is applied, the battery is not corrected properly. The amber light steady means the battery is charging. The green light flashing means that it's greater than 80%, and the green light steady means that the battery is completely charged. Now the Spyder has not been cranked in a few days. So as you can see, the battery is charging as it should. Now if you come over here, my Triumph is always on the charger and it's steady green. If I go for a ride on this motorcycle, it will discharge that battery to a certain extent. And when I come back and plug it up, it will be at 80% or higher. So as you can see, this thing needed charging. We'll check on this thing in the next little while, see how long it takes. And I'll keep you updated on that. After less than 25 minutes, it is fully charged. Now I can just leave this on here and it will just maintain it and take care of it. And that way when we have these cold nights or super hot weather, don't have to worry about it draining the battery. So that's all there is to putting a battery tender on a CanAm Spyder. So there you have it. Battery tender installation complete. Very simple job, something you can definitely do. Make sure, until next time, you go out, buy that motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And installing a battery tender is a lot of fun. Make sure you take care of that battery. We'll talk to you real soon.